Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today, Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. I'm going live on my channel because Jeremy's schedule is just a little bit out of whack right now with college football starting, him always doing, live vlogs, traveling, going to college football games and so forth. We actually did a show yesterday, pre-Raw. It was fun to kind of run down everything that's been going down in WWE in about the last week, trying to put together what we think the Wrestlepalooza card is going to be. And last night's Raw, it was a little bit weird. It was a little bit different. I don't want to say that it wasn't important, but there definitely was a different kind of feel to Monday Night Raw. It was kind of like they were trying to give us more action with more wrestling inside of the ring. You had the Penta match, you had the Penta against Rusev, you had Raquel, you had Nikki Bella against Asuka. A lot of matches. Then when it comes down to it, they matter to Monday Night Raw, but they don't really matter in the huge grand scheme of things. I think they were trying to put things on the screen that you knew you had to watch, because if you changed the channel and came back, you probably would have missed the finish of a match. And they were fighting against Monday Night Football. On Monday night, WWE is going to be moving the time of Monday Night Raw forward 1 hour. Here on the West Coast, it is going to start at 4 o'clock instead of 5. On the East Coast, it's going to start at 8 o'clock. When I first saw this news, it was reported as the new change to the Monday Night Raw time. And, when I was watching Raw and they talked about it at the very start of the show, they made it seem like it was a 1 week thing. So I don't know if this is the trial. I don't know if somewhere along the lines of communications, lines got crossed and it is just going to be a one-time thing, or if WWE is moving Raw to get ahead of football. Let's face it. I mean, Monday Night Raw, if it was able to start an hour early and you watched Raw normally averages about a 2.5 hour show. If you watched Raw to the end and then you flip it over to Monday Night Football, the game's probably going to be coming out at halftime, and you got 2 halves of football to watch. On Monday, I sat on my couch. I had my iPad sitting in front of me, and I was kind of like watching both screens at once. And my girlfriend kept on like getting pictures of me as I was trying to use my phone at the same time to do tweets, as well as like looking at things on my computer. And she's like, 4 screens. Do you really need 4 screens? And then honestly, when it comes down to it for Monday, with Monday Night Raw, I need all the screens. That's just the way it's going to be. My fandom with WWE is pretty much at an all-time high. I don't want to say that it's like all that I have going in my life, but I want to say that I'm like close to what it was like in 2010. SmackDown, to me, last week's SmackDown was pretty freaking good, but SmackDown is kind of like hit or miss. I can kind of like follow it on Twitter. I don't look at it as like must-see television week in and week out. They're trying to make it that the next 2 weeks with Brock Lesnar appearances, but I really think what they're trying to do is trying to get us to care about ESPN and try to get people to do the app and sign up, get registered. I honestly thought there was going to be like a little bit more force fed to us on Monday with the describing what the ESPN app is, how to download the ESPN app, how to sign up. It almost feels like right now WWE is going to do everything they can in 2025 to steer you towards the app, and they're going to give you a reason that you want to go to the app and you want to figure out what you have to do. But it's almost like WWE has looked at ESPN and Disney and just kind of been like, we got our money. We're going to put on a show and you're going to show it. It's going to be kind of up to you. I mean, when you remember like, 2013 with the WWE Network, we had the Bellas teaching us like how to plug in a cable box into our television, how to make sure that it's plugged in, going to a router and make sure that we have Wi-Fi service. They were giving us the basics of basics. And at this point now, I understand that like early days WWE Network Volume 1, that was Vince McMahon's money. That was Vince McMahon's dime of him, making sure that he was going to get back money on his investment. And now pretty much WWE is selling it. I wasn't really watching WWE as hardcore in 2021 when the Peacock deal came out. But like this ESPN deal kind of just seems like it's over there. If you want to go get it, go get it. It's up to you. We're not going to be the one, hard selling this. Now, when you flip over and you watch Triple H on the McAfee show, they're not going into deep basics, but he's kind of like really hitting you over your head. This is more than likely going to cost you $30 a month. They're kind of like not talking about the fact that some places are giving, free subscriptions to ESPN. I don't think they want to be looking as like plugging Hulu Plus TV if Hulu Plus TV is not going to be paying them. At the same time, they don't want to be hurting YouTube TV's relationship with wrestling as well. So it's like these guys might, be people that want to give us money to be advertisers in the foreseeable future. So we can't give, free ads to other people out along down the road. I know what I have to do. Today is September 9th. I think, honestly, I have to get the pedal to the metal on my days off this week. I think I have Thursday and Friday off. I'm the guy who writes the schedule at my work, and I'm not even 100% sure. I've been working on Saturdays because my assistant coaches soccer, and she helped me out a lot when I was helping Coach Peyton in softball. So I want to be able to give back, and I just don't want the shop to be without somebody. So I just been going in on Saturday. My kids most of the time are barely out of bed by 2:00 when I get home from work anyway. So it's not like I'm missing out on a ton. It's just, I don't want to work every Saturday for the rest of my life. And I was trying to take the 20th off just so like everything can be done and out of the way. I think the show starts at 5. I'm not 100% sure, but, I'm going to be home at like 2:30. I think everything will get done. But what I'm going to do on my days off, I'm talking to you because I am making a deal with you because I want to follow through and I want to be able to do this. I have to go to YouTube TV and I have to unsubscribe. I have to go to Hulu Plus TV and I have to subscribe to them. I got to download the app on my phone because I got to make sure that I can watch football come Sunday. That's very important to me that I have an option to listen to it. What I do when I'm at work is I actually turn YouTube. Well, what I did do is I turned YouTube TV on and I just listened to the game while I work because I find it better audio than actually listening to it on the local radio station. You get all that static. It's like constantly listening to like in the background, and when you listen to it for a good 15-20 minutes, you kind of like drown that out. But when you first turn the game in on the radio, it just seems like such old times to be able to do that. It seems like kind of like listening to the TV on your phone. It just seems like just so much better. It's probably what it's like when you like listen to it on like Sirius or XM if you have one of those. But I need to sign up for that. I need to find out what I need to do as a Hulu subscriber to be able to make sure that I have an unlimited account on the ESPN app. So I'm going through all of this. I know we only have 2 people live, but for when I download this and re-upload this, if you are watching this in the foreseeable future, or if one of these viewers here knows what I'm talking about, I honestly really need help. I would love to use, I just forgot what the heck they're called. The thing where you can change your IP address and then basically you tell your computer that you are living in a different country. Like I can change my location to like basically like I'm living in Toronto and then be able to watch Canadian Netflix. Maybe I have to call my good tech friend Mike. I think that honestly he would understand what I'm saying here. And like if I was to sign up for that, like do I need to how do I tell Netflix that I live in Canada? Do I have to sign up for Canadian Netflix? Like do I have to unsubscribe from the Netflix account that I have now, go to like a Canadian Netflix site, sign up, and then like start paying them because they basically they get Raw commercial free. They get SmackDown live as it's aired. I think it's commercial free as well. They get all of the WWE pay-per-views. I think that honestly, that's like the best option. I've made jokes about moving to Toronto for a while, but that's kind of what I want to do, but I don't know how VPN. That's what the thing is. That's what I do not understand, and that's what I wish I knew what it was. Like Stephanie McMahon, you did that ad on your podcast. I wish that you would just like come over to my house, and we'll just talk VPN wrestling for a while. Like I've read a couple things, and that it basically says that like Netflix is getting smarter about people using VPNs because they use the same IP address. And like when so many IP addresses are tuning in to watch Netflix, they'll basically ban you. Um, like when you have too many logins on your account, like if you have an account and you give it to, all your friends and neighbors from work, and then everybody's logged in, you only have so many streams. Now, if so many different accounts are logged in on the same IP address, they'll just like kill the IP address and like ban them. So that way you're not able to get in there. So in the long run, does it not even really end up working? Like I've seen VPN commercials forever on YouTube. I've heard the ads. This is like the first time in my life that I've ever got to the point where it's like, I wish I had one. So, I don't know. When I first started hearing about them, it was about like online security. Now it's kind of like, getting around, different countries where like different movies are okay to watch and things like that. So I just want to watch WWE. If becoming a VPN guy helps me watch WWE easier, I would love it. I really wish that Netflix would have got the WWE deal. When it comes down to it, ESPN, have they been talking about wrestling a lot? Yes. But also at the same time, I think they're like kind of like betting on wrestling too much, thinking that we're going to be the main driving source for this app. I haven't seen anything related to college football. I haven't seen anything related to pro football bringing in viewers to this app. There's no like promises of extra games, extra streams. It's just kind of wrestling PLEs, and that's it that I've seen. So off of my soapbox there. Going back to Raw on Monday night, there was two big angles that I think I don't really know where they're going with this. I'm not 100% sure if it's a bigger picture, if this is related to Wrestlepalooza, if it's a long-term storyline. But Stephanie Vicaire, where are you? I mean, like, I felt like she had a missing poster on a milk carton, and I didn't know about it. I remember, I believe it was last week, it might have been the week before, and Roxanne Perez went up to Adam Pearce and basically asked about the women's championship match at Wrestlepalooza, if there was any way to be added to the match, and Adam Pearce said no. Um, she said, I was the last one to beat Io Sky. And Adam Pearce said that if Io wins at Wrestlepalooza, she would be kind of first in line for a championship shot against Io Sky. She would be like the sort of new number one contender. Was that them kind of warning us that something was going on with Stephanie? They're not telling us if she's injured. They're not telling us if she's not showing up to work. They're not telling us if she is pregnant. So they're really walking on eggshells with Stephanie Vakir about what is going on. I don't know if it's like a SummerSlam 2021 situation where they put out Io Sky versus Stephanie Vakir because they felt like it was the match that they should deliver on since Naomi is not going to be there. They already have that Io Sky was the last women's champion. And then Stephanie Vakir was owed a championship shot because of her win at Evolution. So it just made sense. But were so many people upset that Rhea Ripley was not in the title hunt at this time that they're just kind of like, we'll just scratch Stephanie and not know what's going on. In today's WWE, you can tell that I don't know if it's like a rolling schedule or, the roster kind of like overturns, but are you noticing that they're using people less and people are kind of getting lost in the shuffle? I can't remember the last time I saw Stephanie Vakir on TV. Did she get injured in a match? Did she get injured in like the house show matches that they ran in Mexico, a month ago or something like that? But it seems like if they would have thought there was an injury, why would you put her in this match? She was already told that she would get her championship shot soon. It didn't say you would get it at the first, the first moment that it would become possible. So if there was a thought of an injury, they could have kept her off to the sideline for a little bit without even really telling us what it is. So I don't know. I don't understand where Stephanie is, but the Stephanie versus Io Sky match at this point honestly seems like it's up in the air, and it's got me wondering, like, is Rhea just going to replace her? Roxanne, she has a match on Monday. If she wins that match, quite possibly could she be added to it? I'm not really 100% sure, but you also got to look at who was AJ Styles talking to. Seems like be some of the biggest non-news of Monday. It wasn't even on television here in the United States. I don't want to make it seem like what happens during commercials for everybody else in the world doesn't mean anything. Maybe they just went and told them to go out there and deliver a promo, and AJ Styles feels that his character maybe is coming to an end in WWE, and he's trying to just draw a little bit more speculation on what is going on. To me, it almost made it seem like AJ Styles is upset at being in WWE, and it made me kind of open up my minds of like, does AJ want to go to like AEW? Is he trying to leave the company and maybe go work somewhere else? Why would he say there's people in WWE that don't want him to be there? Doesn't want to be holding him down. It made him seem like AJ doesn't have any friends. The fact that he brought up Gallows and Anderson, they were, in the club together, the OC, and now they're wrestling somewhere else. It seems like they're doing Maple Leaf Pro in Canada. They're kind of doing not house shows, indie shows when they want to do them. They're doing a lot of like autograph signings and stuff. They're living the life. They're living off what they have done. And I think from listening to talking shop, what happens on the Patreon, we're not really supposed to talk about, but Carl Anderson has said 1,000 times that like he's made jokes about creative control, and he's not going to do something unless they want to do it. Like if it's a fun match, if it's like people they've wrestled and they're good brothers with, they'll go out and do the match. But they're not just going to go to some podunk town and wrestle and put over some nobodies just for the fact that there's money out there. I think they enjoy being at home, being around each other, working on their little project that they have in Georgia with their new television show. I think that that's where their heart is right now, and trying to make this project that they're working on as big as it could possibly be. But as soon as the promo's over in the match, you know, Dragon Lee comes out and helps him. So is AJ Styles and Dragon Lee a new team? Like, are they doing something to help put over what's going over in AAA? Is that why they had that promo there, or what are they really working on? Because AJ goes out there, pretty much dominates his match against El Grande Americano. El Grande Americano is somebody that he's been dealing with since he's been trying to get the Intercontinental Championship from Dom. Was that him closing the door on El Grande Americano? And the Dom match for a third time now is going to be coming up sooner than later. And it's going to be a one-on-one affair now. I'm not really quite sure. And then we end the match. We end the night with the matchup of LA Knight going up against Brunson Reed. And that match, basically ends with Brunson Reed pinning LA Knight. But then we have Jey Uso come down to try and help fight off Braun Breaker. Then, basically Jey Uso runs down. We have another close call. This time, nothing happens again, but LA Knight's like, we cool. And as soon as LA Knight helps up Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso lays him out with a spear. So was that the fact of just like giving each other a receipt? Like, you hit me earlier, I hit you now. And now we're all good. Are we going to start seeing shades of gray from Jey Uso? Or are we going to see him turning heel? Do we just need a good old one-on-one match? Much like when John Cena and Dean Ambrose were fighting to see who got a chance to beat up Seth Rollins first. Do we just need a match on Raw where these guys just go out there, settle the score, whoever's the better man moves on, and we just close it? Because we're a while away, but it really seems like we're putting together war games. And, if WWE has the guts, are we going to be putting, chicks in there? Are AJ and Becky Lynch going to be a part of this? Or are they just going to kind of like be, cheerleaders, almost like on the outside, putting it together? But, we're dreaming of like, is it going to be like Cody, Roman, Jay? At this point, you got to wonder if like LA Knight is going to be a big enough name to be a part of this. He's sure been fighting the Vision more than anybody. And if you get that many names, like, who is going to be joining the Vision? Somebody in the foreseeable future has to be joining it. I sure don't see them turning Jey Uso full heel. I don't see that happening. Like, he might hate LA Knight and not get on the same page. But the Yeet Fest, I don't think is going to be coming to an end anytime soon. Now, we're just going to be running down, what's going to be happening in the foreseeable future. WrestlePalooza is going to be coming up, fast and furious. We only have 2 SmackDowns. We've only got 1 Raw on the way to WrestlePalooza. But on SmackDown Friday night, it's mainly just going to be carried by Brock Lesnar is going to be on the show. Now, Brock Lesnar at this time, anything could change, but we haven't seen the man in a while since he got beaten up by Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. I don't know if Brock Lesnar in a promo is going to make people care about signing up for the ESPN app on, WrestlePalooza. This is not just there's going to be a PLE on the app. Go out there and watch it. If you are not a subscriber, you're not going to be able to see it. We need to be doing things where people are going out of their way to get it. This is the first time. I mean, you got to keep banging the table on this. Like, I don't know, like, what you guys think. Like, when Brock Lesnar is by himself, he can run down and he can beat somebody up. But as we know from last week, Cena's not going to be on SmackDown pretty much ever again. So at least in this last run, getting down to it, I mean, Cena could, hop on a private jet, fly down, and think that he needs to get the best of Brock Lesnar by jumping him from behind. I really don't think it's going to happen, but Brock Lesnar's promos have never really blown me away. I don't know if he's doing like a sit down interview that they can chop up and edit. That was really cool on the way to that Extreme Rules match when, Cena was saying that he was going to make Cena, shit his pants, basically. I mean, I can't remember the exact wordage of it, but he was saying like piss, and then he was saying like the stuff running down your leg, and then he said shit very funny. I think I just cussed way too many times. I think there's weird rules on the live that you're not supposed to cuss all that much, so I apologize to the people out there. And then from watching the Pat McAfee show today, we have learned from Triple H that Cody Rhodes is going to be a part of Wrestlepalooza. He basically just threw the spoiler out there in the wind. I think at this time it has to be Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre at the show. So I don't know if we're just going to be getting like a YouTube video filmed on Cody Rhodes' iPhone accepting a Drew McIntyre challenge, if he's actually going to be coming to SmackDown. I didn't write down where it was, but we've all seen the pictures of Cody Rhodes with his cats mates all getting together. We haven't seen one with Roman Reigns, but yeah, I don't know how many of these pictures were taken before Roman was done in WWE. I would honestly be thinking that Roman Reigns' role in this movie is as big, if not bigger, than Cody's. I don't think Cody is going from having a very small role in the Naked Gun movie to having a major role in Street Fighter. Guile, to me, honestly, is a bigger character than the one Roman is playing. But I don't see Roman just being a huge Street Fighter fan that he takes like some ultimate cameo role. I think his role is going to be as big as Cody's, if not bigger. Honestly, in my opinion, I wonder if, like, when it comes down to it, when everybody talks about like the Fast and Furious Rock versus Vin Diesel contract rumors that, if there's a fight, it has to be 50-50. They have to go punch for punch. It can never look like somebody came out the winner. Like, is there like something in their contract that basically says like if Cody and Roman fight, then that someone has to come out the winner? Like, are we going to be looking at this as like, Roman deserves a rematch at WrestleMania because he beat up Cody Rhodes in the freaking Street Fighter movie? I don't know why. I have never seen the last Street Fighter movie. I don't want to say that I threw too many quarters at Street Fighter 2. I do remember renting a Super Nintendo from Blockbuster to play Street Fighter 2. I think it was Tournament Edition for one hell of a weekend that my dad actually let me rent a Super Nintendo. I never owned one. I don't know how I skipped that one. I had Nintendo, I had Nintendo 64, I had the Wii, I had the Switch. I think that's all of them, although I don't even know. I never had a Wii U. I don't know if that was part of the Wii or if that was like the newer system of the Wii. I just never had one. But Cody, he could be at least some part of it. I don't know if it's going to be some sort of thing where Drew challenges him and it's like an open challenge, and then Cody just shows up at WrestlePalooza. But I think, like I've been saying, they gotta sell this thing, and they gotta sell it hard. I think we gotta know that Cody's going to be there for real on SmackDown. I don't know if that means he's standing there, but I think we gotta know. Also on Friday, WWE is going to be counter promoting against itself. At the same time, SmackDown is going to be going on. Worlds Collide, AAA Las Vegas is going to be going on. This is the show that's going to be on YouTube on WWE's channel being promoted live. I don't know how AAA works in Mexico, if it's a pay-per-view, if it's a television event. I don't think WWE has really got into covering like how Mexican wrestling, luchadors, whatever they want to call it, work down there. But here in the United States, the only match that is being promoted is Dom wrestling against Vikingo for their World Heavyweight Championship. I apologize. I should have wrote down what the name of it is because I'm sure it's just not called the AAA World Heavyweight Championship. But this is a rivalry that has been going on since WrestleMania 41. I think there's a good chance that Dom walks out the champion. When they had the last show at Triplemania, that was when AJ Styles was trying to get a championship shot for the Intercontinental title in WWE against Dom. So he showed up and he hit Dom with a Styles Clash that actually helped Vikingo win that match and keep his championship. If I remember right, it was a fatal 4-way. I think it involved Dragon Lee as well as El Grande Americano. I think that's what it was. But as of now on Raw, we saw that AJ Styles and Dragon Lee are both friends. Are they both going to be a part of this match in some way? I know by looking at the card, WWE is all over Worlds Collide. It's just not being promoted here in the States. But the New Day minus Waller, they're going to be in a tag team match. Natalya is in a singles match. Balor and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day, they are going to be in a mixed tag down there. Dragon Lee is actually in a 4-way for a championship there. Ethan Page and JD McDonough are going to be in that match as well. And then the LWO is going to be a part of like some 8-man tag. I'm not sure if it's like 4 different tag teams or if it's like a 4-on-4 affair. I just know the LWO is going to be a part of it. I watched the first Worlds Collide that was before the Money in the Bank show in Los Angeles. I thought it was going to be a show that like something monumental happened. I'll tell you the truth. I don't think I'm going to watch this show. I didn't watch Triplemania. It's going to be fun to see what the results are. But as far as I could tell, WWE wasn't even in, the Mexican market, and Dom was getting babyface cheers. I wouldn't be surprised if, Dom looks like the hero of the day at Worlds Collide, and hopefully he'll have an answer for it. Maybe they just roll with it and just say, like, freaking, like, when we're doing the AAA stuff, you are babyface. And he becomes the champion, and they roll out from there. I think that's the ultimate plan. I think Dom with 2 belts. I think it's honestly where we're going. When we're looking at the foreseeable future, we have Monday Night Raw on the 15th. It's going to be coming to you from Springfield, Mass. I don't know a lot about Massachusetts. I've never been there before. November 10th, they're going to be back in Massachusetts for Boston. I think they're just going into the John Cena markets as like a thank you to John. John Cena is going to be making an appearance. If everybody remembers, I don't know if this is like his actual hometown, if this is like where he lived when he was going to high school. But like the shirts for Springfield are going to be featuring like the 54 logo. 54, when he was like kind of like doing the rapper gimmick, is the number that they put like on his like football jersey. They had an old school one. They had a new one come out at WrestleMania. I was really wanting to buy like the Word Life football jersey, but the thing was $150. And I just really kept thinking, like, when am I going to wear that? Like, I'll buy a t-shirt for $50 and wear it once or twice and be cool with it. But like $150 football jersey, that's kind of crazy. And I'll tell you the truth about my football fandom. I buy my football jerseys from like China. Most of the time I make sure that I buy them like on a buy one get one free, and they cost like $60. So I'm looking at like paying like an average of 30. I wear them to work. I'm a meat cutter. I get like whatever you want to say, blood, guts, and juices all over those things. I wash them. They come out clean. And I got no fear if I've ripped a couple of them being at work where like it gets stuck on a machine or something like that, and it is what it is. I know what I'm doing, but we get to wear the Niner gear on Niner Sundays, and I think it works. I think it's worth it. But at Raw on Monday, I really think that we're gonna get another John Cena match. We got the John Cena versus Sami Zayn match on SmackDown. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, we've heard from Rob Van Dam that they a call has been made and was asked like, "Hey, would you want to work a match with John Cena on the retirement tour?" And you know, Rob wrestled his biggest match at One Night Stand 2006 when he beat John for the WWE Championship, which then launched the ECW brand by him, you know, becoming the ECW champion as well. Once Paul Heyman talked him coming in there, he was like one of the main stars. It was him, and it was Kurt Angle. When WWE was said like you can have one person off of each brand to start to build it. You know, I'm not sure if you bring somebody out from the past, but like, I would love to see John. Sami Zayn match, honestly, was a really big surprise. The fact that you're able to tie it all in together with the retirement tour. This time, you know, when Sami made his debut is for the US title. Now, Sami actually is the United States champion. So you have that match. We all knew that it was going to be broken up by Brock Lesnar. So, you know, that was cool. I listened to Review of Raw from Post Wrestling with Wei Ting and John Pollock, and they threw this out as like a what do you want to see John Cena's last match be? And I know we're like going around Wrestlepalooza. We're kind of skipping over that for the main thing because this match isn't until December, and I really don't want to see John Cena versus Brock Lesnar 1, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar part 2, part 3 to end his career. I understand that those are big matches, but you know, we've only seen a rematch with the Cody Rhodes, and that was because of the WWE Championship. I kind of want to see a different person each time and kind of bring people back from the past, even if it is like, you know, somebody that hasn't wrestled in WWE in a while. I think that would be really, really fun. But John Cena versus Kurt Angle, I think would be kind of like a jaw-dropping moment. You know, John Cena versus Kurt Angle in Chicago was John Cena's first match. And that was, of course, when, you know, he came out with the Ruthless Aggression Challenge and he stepped up and he didn't win that night, but he went in the back and he got the respect handshake from The Undertaker. And, you know, revisionist history kind of tells us like he was on and running after that. Basically, like John Cena never lost another match again, but he got Cena on the main roster, but it took a while for him to get his fitting. It had to go do the whole deal with the Halloween deal with the Vanilla Ice gimmick, and then basically he started his rapping thing, and I think from there it was just on, and they just found a character for him that really worked. He won the United States Championship. He won the World Heavyweight Champion. No, at that time period, I get the belts mixed up. Which one was the WWE Championship? Which one was the World Heavyweight Championship? But he won that. They switched him over to Raw. He really became the number one face of the company. And then everybody turned against him, but he just kept on, you know, being the guy with the spinny belt. And it worked. But we all know that Kurt Angle, he has not had a match since WrestleMania 35 when he lost to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is one of the guys that, you know, John Cena has said helped him throughout his time. You know, they were friends, they were friendly. They work together. We've seen, John Cena use Baron Corbin's finisher in the Logan Paul match. So you can tell that it's somebody that he holds in high regards. But that match, I think everybody in the wrestling world looked at like, that thing sucked. Like, how do you have a legend like Kurt Angle go out losing? And then the biggest thing to me was like a month later, 2 months later, what did Baron Corbin get out of winning that match? It was almost like they just buried him just to get him out of the way. Vince brought him back to be like the Monday Night Raw, like, the voice of reason. I guess you can say, like, the general manager or whatever role they gave him to kind of like be on screen, kind of like making decisions, and also kind of look like somebody that can be a tough guy if somebody got in his way. And that turned into him wrestling a match here, wrestling a match there, and they gave him a last match at WrestleMania. But like, were they just trying to say like he was over the hill? He was it was past his prime. Like, were they trying to like take a shot at him for all the time that he spent in TNA? It was Kurt Angle's. It was his decision to go there. Vince kind of released him to like clear his head and like, just be out of the wrestling business, go home, hopefully deal with the demons that he had at the time, and then come back. And then he just went right to TNA, signed with Dixie Carter, and boom, he was there. But Cena versus Angle, it doesn't even have to be the biggest match of all time. Cena has wrestled some like real barn burner, damn, like you can point at that and be like, that was a good match. I don't think that he has to go out there on his last match and have the best match of all time. I think it is going to be, us going into the moment knowing that it's going to be a big night. Whatever they put together for like a best of John Cena video that like they play before he comes out there, showing everything that Cena has done for WWE, everything that he has done in WWE, inside and out, like all of the fans that he has made, how many people he has touched along the way. And then we get like the promo, the intro. The match could be against anybody. He could go out there and beat somebody like, Grayson Waller. And I think it's going to have the same effect. But him against Angle, I think it would be awesome. For Raw, they've also announced Lyra Valkyrie against Roxanne Perez. I have no idea why this match has even been named. Lyra lost last Monday to Raquel Rodriguez, and now it seems like she's going up against Roxanne. Roxanne has already been named as like the sort of number one contender if Io Sky wins. So is Lyra just going out there to lose another match? Is this something to set up with Bailey somewhere along the way? Like, Lyra shouldn't be climbing up, having match against higher contenders after losing. I'm not trying to knock Raquel Rodriguez, but she shouldn't be going up and fighting like one of the top contenders in the women's division. That match honestly just doesn't make much sense to me. After Monday, we're going to go to September. That SmackDown is going to be in Toledo. All we know is that Brock Lesnar is going to be there. I've already told you, with the last SmackDown appearance, Brock to me making an appearance on his own, doing some sort of a promo in the ring. I don't know who they can volunteer for him to go out and beat up. I know it was very entertaining when he beat up Heath Slater, on Raw back in the day when they just needed somebody to be out there, and he was saying like he needed this job because he's got kids, and Brock like basically they punched him in the face, suplexed him, and told me he didn't care. But that's your go home show. The next day is ESPN Wrestlepalooza. So that's what we got to get there. Once we get to Wrestlepalooza, we know that we have 5 matches at this moment. I guess we know we have 4 matches at this moment. One of them, we just know that Cody's going to be there. We don't know who it's going to be against, but Your main event is going to be Cena versus Brock. Biggest match at this time, it seems like AJ Lee and CM Punk going up against Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Big question mark here after Monday Night Raw is Io Sky versus Stephanie Vicare. Where is Stephanie? Next Monday, are they going to have to make some decision? Maybe that's the one thing that you can draw towards that Roxanne match. Maybe they're going to have Roxanne beat Lyra, and then once it's done, be like, hey, you are the replacement. It's now going to be Io Sky against Roxanne Perez for the women's championship. Now, not really quite sure. And then they really, hit the well hard with this one. The Usos reuniting, kicking off Monday Night Raw, saying they want to fight against Braun and Bronson. We know that Jimmy and Jay will work together. They're one of the best tag teams that WWE has ever had. I would, put them up there. Demolition. I would put the New Day. I would put the Usos. In that discussion of being up there with the Hardys, with the Dudleys. I would put them in my top 5. I think non-debatable, they should be in everybody's top 10. The Usos killed people. The run that they had from we'll say roughly 2015 to, going into the 2020s, they beat everybody. The way they reinvented each other, like the Islanders thing or whatever you want to call that. I get it. They didn't win much. Every once in a while they might have won. They ended up with a championship. But once they ditched that face paint and the dance their way down to the ring, and it became Usos Penitentiary, they became a tag team that meant something. And when they were going to have a match, it was going to be effing good. Drew versus Cody should be added to the show. We'll have to see what's going down with that, but that's what's going on with WWE in my book. I kind of keep one of these notebooks here. I write in it, and kind of keep a calendar to see what's going down. This is my book and log of since I've started really using them to make videos and these live streams to put it together. So we're coming up on it. Like I said, I'm going to be doing it this week on my days off, Thursday or Friday, going through the whole deal of unsubscribing to YouTube TV, signing up for Hulu Plus, and then trying to figure out what I got to do to make the ESPN app come on. I would guess you kind of go into the app and you use your login, and I'm guessing that that's going to unlock everything to make it there. But I just don't want people to be going to the ESPN app the day of, as the show is starting, and finding out the hard way that they haven't done what they need to do. I think the $30 needs to be said 100 times on Monday. I don't want to go over the top, but I really do. Let people know that we are going back to the old school ways of $30 a month. And don't let it be a surprise come the 20th and people aren't able to, watch the stream. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you guys down the road. We'll have some fun, and Wrestlepalooza 2020.